To the show. We're going to do a little podcast tonight, and we're talking about rat news around the world, obviously. So, welcome to the show. My name is Kenny, aka Rat Daddy, nyc_KB. You can find me on TikTok doing live streams and also doing other content as well, themed around New York City. So, tonight we're going to start off with some of the rat news around the world. So, we have about 20 people live with us on TikTok. We're going to talk about the first headline that's out there tonight. New Zealand has Ghostbusters hunt for every rat. Now, this is a genius idea. Listen to this news headline out of New Zealand. So, New Zealand has an ambitious goal of becoming predator-free by 2050. In Wellington, even a single rat sighting can trigger an emergency response involving detector dogs, trapping teams, and community alerts. Official report major successes, including dramatic increases in native bird populations after rat eradication efforts. So this is according to The Guardian. What a great idea that New York City should kind of copy and paste if they can get more and more of those rat dogs to come in different neighborhoods around New York City. How many rats would they eradicate, so to say, on a nightly basis? That's exactly what New York City should do. Shout out to New Zealand for going after all these vermin that they see down under. What do you guys think about that? Great idea, though, for the country of New Zealand. As we go on to the next one, U.S. rats and mice may be evolving against poison. I don't think that's new news to anybody. Researchers have been studying rodents in the Northeast, and they found a widespread genetic mutation linked to resistance against common rodenticides. About 35% of Norway rats tested carried mutations associated with poison resistance, raising concerns for future urban rat control. This could become a major issue in cities like New York, obviously. So when I'm out there on the streets, they have all those little black bait boxes everywhere. And those black bait boxes, they are there for one reason and one reason only. They're poison. And I think that poison needs to be eliminated. There needs to be trapping, old school trapping again, similar to what they're doing in New Zealand, because what's going on is it's affecting the whole urban ecology as well, the ecosystem. Birds of prey, we talk about this on the rat tours that I do. So if you're coming to New York City, you want to go on a rat tour, you can find me on TripAdvisor or Airbnb or right here on TikTok. I got a lot of people coming into the comments saying Giannis just got traded. I just saw that Giannis did get traded to the Miami Heat. This is a live stream. So this isn't like I just made this stream up a week ago. But those bait boxes, they are evolving heavily to those bait boxes. They do not eat the poison out of there unless it's a baby. And if they do eat the poison, you may see a rat or a mouse out during the daytime disoriented. And that's what happened a few years ago with Flacco the owl. So Flacco the owl, if you don't recall, escaped its bird sanctuary in the Central Park Zoo. And when it got out, people were concerned because they weren't sure how it was going to survive in the wild. This was more of a rescue bird that was kind of rehabbing in the Central Park Zoo. So what happened was Flacco the owl ended up eating a poisoned rat that ate some of this poison. And what happened then was that Flacco the owl then ran into a window. So he ran into a window, and that's how he died. So people are saying that the owl was also ingesting poison, and that made the poor owl die. So that affects all the ecosystem of New York City. All the birds that go after these rodents, if they're infected by that poison, that bird is then going to be infected by that poison as well. I was in town for a goose show, didn't see one rat. I mean, Midtown Manhattan has cleaned up its act a lot, so you're not going to really see too many rats in Midtown Manhattan. But if you come with me on a rat tour in New York City, I focus on an area in Lower Manhattan, Lower East Side, and Chinatown. And down there, you're going to see a lot of rats. In Midtown, they have their trash set up a little bit differently. So the trash in Midtown works a little bit differently. So let's move on to our next headline. This is going to take us to Rhode Island. And we're talking about Rhode Island just approved a phased ban on anticoagulant rat poison because they also kill hawks, owls, and other wildlife that eat poisoned rodents. Supporters say it protects ecosystems. Opponents worry it will make rat infestations harder to control. So if you're listening to the first two stories, I don't think rat poison is the end all be all. I'm a firm proponent to what Rhode Island is doing here. I support what Rhode Island is doing, is banning these pest control things. I think they should go with what New Zealand's doing. So if you're just joining us, the country of New Zealand is doing rat busters. They're hunting every time they see a rat or a rodent in New Zealand, they're going straight after that rat. They're bringing in dog detectors, they're bringing in trapping teams and community alerts. And then they're considering, if they see a rat in New Zealand, they're considering that an emergency. And by the way, we're going live tonight on Twitch. We're going live tonight on YouTube. I think we're on YouTube. We'll be on StreamYard, and then we'll reposting this on YouTube in case you want to listen as you're going on your morning commute. But thanks everyone for joining. My name is Kenny. It's 12 midnight here on the East Coast. It's Tuesday, June. I don't know what day it is. The 22nd. How do I sound out there tonight? But Rhode Island is moving towards banning rat poison, which I think is a great idea. You could trap rats old school fashion. I know you got to find out and put a little more work into it. I think putting poison down is just a lazy method that people do, because once you put that poison down, then the rats will end up dying inside of your place. And it's going to smell awful. So before you worry about a rat being found inside your house that's dead, June 23rd. Thank you. It's June 23rd out there for everyone watching. I appreciate that. All in the comments here. We're live on TikTok. Thanks everyone for watching. You're listening to Rat Daddy Radio right here live. And we're going through some of the big news headlines for rats around the world and around the country. So if you have a news headline, or if you're living in one of these cities that we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to go focus on Beaumont, Texas. So if you live near Beaumont, Texas, you might want to stay tuned here and listen. The next one we're going to is therapy ferrets used to hunt rats at a youth prison. Let me read that one again in case you weren't listening or you're falling asleep. Therapy ferrets are used to hunt rats at a youth prison. So this is a bizarre story out of England. Therapy ferrets at the UK's largest prison for children were reportedly used to kill rats during a rodent infestation. The practice sparked criticism from animal welfare. Let me read that one again. The practice sparked criticism from animal welfare groups and prison staff. You can tell I'm on paternity leave because I haven't read in a while. What do you guys think about that? Therapy ferrets. There's a guy I actually watch on YouTube. He's named the Mink Man. I think he does a lot of great work. He goes around different places. I'm not sure where he's based out of, but he's called Joseph Carter the Mink Man on YouTube. If anyone's ever watched him, I think he's a great channel. But he shows what he does to exterminate rats. And on a recent video he posted 4 days ago, he's got 49,000 views. And he got 70 rats down to 6. So there's apparently 70 rats in this farm. He primarily focuses on going to farms and helping those farmers out with cleaning up the rats. But he has a lot of great content on here. 201 rats cleaned off with a mink and dog. So this mink that he has goes into the rat burrows. So he has a mink that goes into the rat burrows, and that pushes the rats out. And then he has all these dogs waiting around to attack the rats. And that's how he captures them safe, humanely, without using poison. So it's a pretty good idea, I think, to implement in other places around the world that have rat infestations. This guy should do a training tutorial. The Mink Man should do a training tutorial on how to get rid of rats in urban populations, because he can do it on the farm in those tight quarters. I think he can definitely do it in urban areas. So if you haven't watched him, definitely check him out. Let's keep moving along the news here. We're going to go to some different cities as well. Washington, D.C. tries rat birth control again. We saw how that worked out in New York City. They tried it at Bryant Park. What's up, Michael? How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to the channel tonight. We're doing a little Rat Daddy Radio live stream. We're going to be posting the rest of this on YouTube. So if you missed the beginning part, or if you just joined in, this is sponsored by Infinity Shields Protects right here. Products now available at Advanced Auto Parts around the country. So you can look online for Advanced Auto Parts and get some rat spray. You can get some stank away, all those different products that we always talk about daily. Sponsored by Infinity Shield. So let's keep going down the list here for different news agencies that are talking about stuff. So Washington, D.C., I said, tries rat birth control again. They're launching another rat birth control pilot program. Officials hope combining contraceptives, traditional extermination, and improved trash management can reduce populations in some of the city's worst rat hotspots. So that's another city that I want to go to for Rat Talk is Washington, D.C. If you live down there or know somebody that lives down there, please let me know, because I do want to check out some of those hot rat spots around the world. But Washington, D.C. has been on my list because it's always on the top 10 for most rat-infested cities around the country. What's up, Mooney? What's up, Mary? The dog shake the rats pretty good. Yes, they do, Abel. So if you're listening to this right now and you're wondering who I'm talking to, you can listen live or watch live on TikTok when we actually do this podcast once a week. The next thing we're going to is Argentina. Argentina has been in the news for the henna virus. They announced that they're expanding rodent testing after henna virus cases increased sharply. Officials are tracking rodents that may be carrying the Andes strain, one of the few henna viruses capable of spreading between humans. So that's pretty scary. We have roof rats here in Sacramento. They're huge. Jade, what's up, man? I was actually watching some guys on the West Coast. They came to visit me, and they went out on a rat tour. So their names are the Twin Home Experts. They're on YouTube. They probably have gone out by you, Jade, but they came and hung out with me here in New York. I need to send you the YouTube video, the full video. But the Twin Home Experts is the name on YouTube. You guys should check them out. They do a lot of great work out on the West Coast. So they go to places that are really infested with rats, including the roof rats, as Jade just mentioned, former co-worker at the University of Missouri. Brett Manuel. What's up, Brent? It's called Twin, like the twins, Twin Home Experts. They have awesome content on YouTube. I can sit there for like hours and watch and binge watch stuff. But check out some of their cool videos of what they do. They show the whole process behind the scenes, and they go to a house and they show what they do. It's pretty incredible work. They're not lazy by any means. They're two brothers that look like identical twins. So they came and visited me in New York, and we had a great time. They came out with me on a rat tour, and they were trying to grab these rats, pick them up. It was pretty funny because the people on the tour had no idea. Where's the Rat Daddy shirt? Oh, I have them online. So if you're interested in any kind of merch, you can look online, nyc.dashery.com, or you can message me for more details on how to get a Rat Daddy shirt. They're going on sale, actually, on Wednesday. They're going on sale on Wednesday. Yes, this is a podcast. I'm going to be posting this on YouTube as well. Yeah, I always shout out some of the best people that are doing good work out there. And like I said, I'm not in any competition with anybody. I'm not trying to fight people about rats. I'm just shouting out all the great people out there too. Yeah, there's hoodies as well. I have hoodies as well. So let's keep going down the news here real quick. California, speaking of Jade, he came at a great time. He lives out in California still, I think. California rat story turns tragic. So a California resident died from leptospirosis, which is rat urine, after reportedly trapping, feeding, and breeding wild rats in an RV. What the hell? Health officials described the situation as a highly unusual, but warned about the dangers of exposure to rat urine and contaminated environments. Jay, that wasn't you, right? He's coming in here acting like he doesn't know what's going on over there. So let me read that one again, just in case you were nodding or falling asleep. A California resident died from leptospirosis after reporting trapping, feeding, and breeding wild rats in an RV. I got to click this article. This is bizarre. This is on June 12th, so about 12 days ago. The bacterial disease spread through infected animal urine is very rare in humans, but can spread through contact with infected body fluids. I don't even know what this guy was doing in an RV with rats. That's not why they call me Rat Daddy, by the way. Rat Daddy was just a nickname that we got on TikTok one night because we were winning the war on rats where I was working, and it wasn't in an RV. I can tell you that. So on June 10th, Berkeley City Manager Paul Budenhagen warned of the existence of leptospirosis in some of the city's rats after the first human death was linked to the rare disease. This is according to People magazine. Per his memo shared with Berkeley officials on June 10th, leptospirosis poses very little public health risk. This guy proposed several measures to increase awareness. Let's go see how did they find this guy? The risk of human contracting the disease is higher for people experiencing homelessness or living in a space with rats or animal urine. Okay, that makes sense. That was likely the case with the Berkeley individual who died of leptospirosis after a living partner who contracted the disease. Both individuals lived together in a recreational vehicle in which they had been trapping, feeding, and breeding wild rats. In addition, the vehicles were severely infested with wild rats that were no longer in cages. This is wild. This is one of the wilder stories I've heard. White Castle in Elmhurst is closing Wednesday. Yeah, isn't that sad? It's not closing because of rats. It's closing because they are shutting it down. Probably going to build another apartment complex there. What's up, Francis? Yeah, we're going through all the news right here. I just saw a video about a rat soup delicacy in Zacatecas, Mexico. I mean, some places it is a delicacy. They're probably not infested rats like this. Like the ones that we're having here are domestic or urban rats that are in the trash that you don't want any part of, you know? All right, so both of the residents, I'm continuing this article here, both residents in the RV parked near the Harrison Street encampment grew sick, but neither sought out medical treatment for weeks and possibly months. Both were eventually transported to a hospital to receive care. I do not want any notifications about this. Where I might go here. What we got going on here? Trying to figure out what happened here. Here we go. You get all these pop-ups every time you open an article. That's why I hate opening these articles. My mouse died. Get it? Mouse died. All right, here we go. Continuous trapping and testing revealed persistently high prevalence of leptospirosis in wild rats around the RV, exceeding expected urban baselines. I'm very shocked that this doesn't happen more often around New York City specifically, that people get this kind of disease, because rats are living amongst us in New York City, whether you want to say it or not. A lot of these apartments that have shitty landlords, a lot of these apartments that don't put the trash out correctly, as you see on some of my live streams. If you haven't watched a live stream, I encourage you to watch one just to learn more about the New York City rat problem. So we go to some of the hot spots around the city based on the restaurant grades we find in different neighborhoods and based on the complaints that people send us on TikTok, like you're watching right now. So people will tell me to come to your neighborhood and we'll go out there, we'll make a video. But I'm very surprised it doesn't happen any more often, because I've seen how people dispose the trash, how they touch the trash container, and then how they go back inside. They're touching the door handle, they're touching the elevator button, all those little things they're touching. And imagine when you touch that without knowing, then you touch your phone, then you wipe your eye, then you're touching your mouth, eating some chips. All those things I think about. And I try not to be like a germ freak, but when you live here, I'm taking the napkins and I'm wrapping that around that ketchup bottle before I put it on my French fries. I can tell you that. Especially if I come out of the subway. You know, sometimes I actually bring gloves. Listen to me. I'm trying not to be, I'm trying to freak out about this, but I try to bring gloves sometimes if I can't wash my hands, and I wear gloves as I eat. So I swim in alcohol gel. I don't know if you're joking or serious. That's funny. Happy Father's Day. Thank you, everybody. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there again. We came on briefly yesterday, but we had a great day with my family. Hope you all spent a nice Father's Day together. We just did something simple, low key. I think in the morning we went to the boardwalk out here on Long Island. We saw the ocean, technically the Long Island Sound. And then we got coffee and we just kind of walked around a little bit with the baby. And then we went back home, and Carissa made a phenomenal filet mignon meal with some good sides like broccoli and mashed potatoes. Yeah, man, I hope you're doing well today. I need to connect with you and catch up. Oh, man. Do I remember the plague? I don't remember it, but I remember reading about it. And I know that the plague was mainly caused by the fleas that were on the actual rats. So it wasn't necessarily the rats itself, but the fleas that were on the rats were jumping onto the people. And that's how people got sick and ultimately ended up dying from the bubonic plague. So let's go through more of the news headlines we have right here. So we have a rat daddy fact of the week. This was created by ChatGPT. So one of the biggest developments for rat watchers is the growing evidence that urban rats and mice are adapting to human control methods. Researchers are now warning that future rat management may rely less on poison and more on trash control, containerization, and habit reduction, the same strategies NYC has been pushing recently. So if you've been watching any of the news from New York City, they are doing exactly what this fact of the week said. So they are doing better with trash control in some spots. The containerization part, they're doing a lot better with. They're putting a whole bunch of big new containers around New York City. We'll answer some questions here on the live stream here in a second. And they're trying to limit the habit reduction. So a lot of good things New York City is doing. May not seem like it when you're out there on the streets, but I feel like they still are missing one thing. New York City is still missing that one thing. What do you guys think that is? From watching my videos every night, from watching the content we post about rats every night, what do you think New York City is missing out there? And yes, I'm still working, but I'm on paternity leave right now. So right now I get to enjoy my time off, rest, relax, catch up on different things like this that I like to do. You know, some of your passions that you maybe don't have time for when you're working that 9 to 5, you have a little bit more passion. And I hope to bring a couple of guests on here that I've been meeting up with. Yeah, Infinity Shield. You should talk to the mayor about the rats. I'd love to talk to Mayor Mondami about the rats, regardless of what your political opinion is about, the mayor. I hope he does well for New York, regardless of who the mayor is. You want them to do well for New York. You don't want New York to go through terrible times. You want the city to be better. You want the city to be the best when you live there, not falling apart like it was in the 80s or the 70s. So I'm all about Mondami, and I'm all about him finding a way to make the city better. And if rats are a part of it, then I'm a part of it. Yeah, the city, the state, and the country want it all to be good. Exactly. Regardless of who's in office, like, you root for people to do well. I'm not sitting here rooting for people to do bad, When they do bad, then I'll call them out on it. But at the end of the day, you want people to do well. And most of the time, you don't know why they're doing stuff. So everyone always has these ideas of they know what's going on. We have no idea what's really going on. But back to the question, there's one thing that's missing, and I think it's people. So I think it's people being out on the streets late at night like I'm doing. So I think people like me need to be hired that aren't working 9 to 5 jobs, that are out on the street and kind of monitoring, similar to what the country of New Zealand is doing. So anytime they see rats, they have an emergency number you can call in New Zealand. You can call this emergency number and they will respond with detector dogs, trapping teams, and other rat patrol stuff. Yes. So I think it's awesome. And if New York City implemented something like that, because like I said, it's 9 to 5, after 5, they don't care. They'll show up in the morning, they'll address it. You're not going to see what's really going on unless it's out after 5 p.m. Now, yes, we do have a lot of pest control companies that work around New York City, but I think the bigger and more positive thing that could possibly happen is a rat emergency number. I think that'd be awesome. And I think that's something that maybe I'll start. Maybe I'll start the rat emergency number right here. Who wants to join me? Need to see it happening. Anyone want to call into the show tonight? 976 rats. Call 976 rats. You can call into the show and ask a question. Let's see right here. I'll give you the phone number real quick. Testing. Make sure the phone's still working over here on my end. Stretch my neck out. I don't know how TikTok is about the number here. 1 second. Hold on. Let me my Google Voice number. How cool would that be, though, an emergency number? Someone like me's out there, and we show up right to your place. Or in every borough, you have somebody waiting there, and they show up with the dogs. They show up with whatever else they need to show up with, and they try to do it. Am I still trying to go out on rat tours? Yeah, I still go out. I limit when I do go out. Tonight it's raining in New York City, so obviously I'm not going to go out in the rain. Don't want to get sick. It's not as fun walking around in the rain when you're wet. Then you have to get on a train, and the train's cold. So let's do this. Let's put the number in here for the chat. You can screenshot this real quick. If you want to call into the show, asking any questions, we'll screen your call. Don't want people calling saying something inappropriate. That's the only issue. We will not answer any private calls too, by the way. So we'll have your phone number on here. All right, so it looks like we've hit everything on here. Trash talk of the week. Do you think rats are the problem? Waiting to see what happens when garbage sits out all week. Rat of the week. The rats survive poison traps, floods, winters, rent increases, and somehow still have enough energy to sprint across a subway platform at 2 a.m. All right, so let's go into some more of the New York City restaurant grades. We have one right here, Ari Rang USA. This is a Korean restaurant located near Flushing, 4104 163rd Street. And we do Rat Patrol still. So we still go out and do our videos based on all the complaints we get. We just went to Brooklyn the other day. We were in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and we met some great people over there. They were complaining about rats in this flower garden. Hopefully that the city comes by, sees what's going on, and they can pave over this area right here. Oh, we got a question. I know who this one is. We got a question coming from Jim in Jersey. I see you.
Hey, Ken, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Listen, whatever happened to the first spot you ever went to?
Ooh, that's a great question. Is that your only question for the night?
Well, that, and then I'm curious about, are you ever going to go fishing again with Mario? No, rat fishing.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Perfect.
You know, and then also, I think they should appoint you. You should definitely be on the staff somewhere. They need to appoint you to the mayoral cabinet.
That's awesome. Thank you, Jim.
Establish a position. And I'll be joining you on a rat tour very soon.
Awesome. I appreciate you for calling, Jim. Thank you so much. I'll talk about all the questions right now.
Bye-bye.
Wow. All right. I did not pay him to say that. So he called in. That's Jim from Jersey. So can somebody remind me of the questions? That's a great question. Number one was, what happened to that rat spot? So we actually just walked by there the other day. I am going to make a video about it. Somebody texted me too. Let's see. We got somebody asking about the Big 12 championship in basketball. All right, let's go back to some of the questions. I forgot all of them because I was shocked it was Jim. Thank you, Jim, for calling. But he said, what happened to that spot in Sunnyside, Queens, that first spot? Whatever happened to it? And I actually walked by the other day, and if you are brand new here, that was the first spot that started Rat Talk. So when I first went to that spot, there was hundreds of rats there living in a colony. They were building an apartment complex, and there was nothing being done at the apartment complex besides rats. Rats were living there. So that's what kind of started Rat Talk. I never meant to film rats. I just kind of happened upon it based on Dave telling me to go down the street. He said there's a whole bunch of rats there. And I was like, no way. I don't know. Dave and I were talking about it one night at the pizzeria. And he's just like, you should go by 46th Street in Queens Boulevard and film the rats there. You'd get a kick out of it. So I was like, all right, went by one night, and sure enough, there was tons of rats. And that's how Rat Talk started. I kept going back. I kept filming. A lot of people became interested here on TikTok. And that was season 1, we called it, because that was the first show. And my goal from that part was to make different areas across New York and try to help shut those areas down. And what ended up happening was 90 days later, it was within 90 days, they actually shut down that apartment complex from construction or continuing the work. And they made them clean it up. So back in the back, there was no more clutter. There was no more trash bags, and it just got cleaned up. It was epic, like Worth the Flip said. And they had the NYPD showed up. Rat Talk sign got stolen. There was something new going on every night. And the fact that I was right down the street from Philomena's Pizza, by the way, if you've never been there, one of the best pizzerias in New York City, located in Queens. You can go check that out over there, over in Queens at 40th Street. But that's where season 1 was born. Question number 2, when are Mario and I going rat fishing? That's a great question. I think that needs to happen again soon. I think I need to bring him down to Chinatown in the lower Manhattan, and we need to go rat fishing. So if you missed that, I need to post that again. But Mario and I went rat fishing on Queens Boulevard right behind the CVS. They had a big rat infestation. We threw a piece of bread out on a line, and sure enough, like 2 minutes after we threw that bread out, a rat came running out and grabbed the bread, and we lost it. We didn't never capture the rat, but I think we need to actually capture rats with the hook. So great question. And then Jim also said that he thinks that I should be on the staff with the mayor. So I appreciate that. I think that we can definitely do something like my idea of putting different people in different boroughs and making an emergency rat hotline. I think that would be a phenomenal idea, Jim. So, and I would love to spearhead that. So we had another question coming in here. This is more about sports, coming from the 409 zip code. Someone tell me where 409 is from. Can you please give us a live prediction on who will win the Big 12 championship in basketball this upcoming season? I mean, when all else fails, you always got to root for, not root, but I always pick Kansas. I mean, Kansas has always been the dominant team in the Big 12 for as many years as I know. So, all right, let's go for some more questions here on the show. Wish you would go there again. Season 1, yeah, we'll go back. I actually just went by there the other day. So let's go through some more here of the show. We were talking about an inspection here in Flushing, Queens, Erie Ring USA, which is a Korean restaurant. 409 is Texas, probably a disgruntled San Antonio fan, says Met Chef. Thank you, Met Chef, for calling. It's good to hear you. Plug your merchandise. Ooh, that's a good idea. I'm sold out of all the stuff that Kathy sent me, and eventually the wife didn't want me having more boxes in the house, so I had to downsize a little bit, and then I put everything online now, so I don't have any merchandise right now. I wish I did. I need to do a raffle. That'd be good. Mario gave me that idea. What pizza is the best? So Lindustry is one of the best in New York City. You go to Manhattan, Lindustry right there in Chinatown. They got an A grade as well. Philomena's, great spot. Over in Queens, another great spot, top 5. Those are my 2 favorites right now that I go to consistently. Do I get a free t-shirt? Oh, I already have stickers from Dave. I'll give you some free stickers and a postcard, Met Chef. Smile Creations will make merch for your fans. Yeah, I need to find I don't know. I like the one I'm doing, but I don't know if I like the quality. The quality I got from Kathy Z was 100 times better. So that's what you give up. I mean, I just don't have time to ship everything. Are there rats inside the apartment units? Yeah, there's rats everywhere. Not out here though, where I live. I still have the stickers you and Dave gave me back in 2022 Halloween week. That was awesome. Big John Brooks came. Yeah, Kathy Z really hooked us up here. So if you ever got any of the original merchandise, those are all from Kathy Z over in Iowa. So we had Rat Talk hoodies. Now they're trademarked. So the term Rat Talk is trademarked by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Online, you can look it up. That was a whole process I had to go through. So it's good for 10 years. I don't know if I'm going to redo it after that, but who knows where I'll be in 10 years. Kathy Z for the win. And she had great backpacks. I need to fix those backpacks. I was jamming them up so much that my backpacks, the zipper broke. So it's not messed up. I just need to fix it and go to like a shoe repair shop or something. They do that kind of work there. My daughter has already started the Rat Academy training. You can always do a test product with her. No, I don't need another one. I just need to fix it. With evidence of rats in the food or live rats in the establishment's food or non-food areas. And they got 107 violations. They have evidence of rats, evidence of mice. How do you have both? Live roaches in the facility's food area. This dates back all the way until 2024. So it's about 2 years now in the making. And we're going to pay a visit to this place soon. So I don't want to tell too much about what the place is or where it's at, but we'll be going by there soon. They've been put on notice. So if you're curious, a score of less than 14 points on either initial or reinspection results in an A grade in New York City. So if you're walking around New York City and you're looking at grades, you want to eat at an A. On a reinspection, a score of 14 to 27 means a restaurant receives both a B grade and a grade pending card. I need to revisit that one. So between 14 and 27, they get a B grade. On a reinspection, a score of 28 or more means a restaurant receives both a C and a grade pending. 28 points or more, you get a C. What's up, Aaron? Thank you so much for the GOAT. Any of these spots had customers get bit? I've never seen a customer get bit or heard of a customer get bit, which is wild, because I know there's a spot right now, based on where we go on these rat tours, that there's tons of rats running around on the inside. So we're definitely going to check this place out soon. It's called, here it is. We're going to pay a visit there soon. Looks like it's in a weird area here. I'm going to look it up and see. How do I get there in the Long Island Railroad? Because it's on the North Shore. Let's look at the schedules right here. So if I leave from Stony Brook right now, let's just find the schedules here. So we have 5 a.m. So you have to take the train to Great Neck. Wow, pretty close. It's right past Flushing. Just curious where that stop actually is. Oh, that's a good question. 2 more good questions. So Met Chef asked, do you plan on making any more TV appearances or the news? So I don't really get to control that much. Let's get the text with the Cardinals. I don't get to control that much about, when I get on TV or when I don't get on TV. It's basically the news. They come out, but I do have 2 big stories coming out soon. One is Time Out magazine. They are a big New York City magazine. They came out on a rat tour about a month ago. So they were there. And then another one was a YouTuber came this past week, Dallin Hazard. He was really cool. So he came out, down to earth guy. He came and shot some stuff. So after people come visit like that, usually the tours grow exponentially. So right now I'm only doing like 2 or 3 a week. That's plenty. I try to limit the amount of days I go out, actually, because the more days I go out, the more time you got to travel back and forth. Aaron's coming this weekend. That's awesome. I know you guys were thinking about it. That's awesome. How many places have you got shut down? Says Lady Green Eyes. Let's see. So we got the place down in Elmhurst shut down. That was a food court. That was one. What else did we get shut down? We got the place on 8th Avenue shut down, Gregory's Coffee. That's 2. I think there's one more place. How do the reporters deal with the rats? They like it. They come out. They're cool. Oh, Sushi Island. Yeah, of course. Season 1. Yeah. So, I mean, there's 4 right there for sure based on restaurant. Oh, Hudson News. Wow. There's so many of them that I forgot about. I need to start writing these down and document it somehow. But if you're watching here for the first time about the rodent news, we shut down Sushi Island. We shut down the construction site next to Starbucks on Queens Boulevard and 46. Hudson News renovations. They had to totally regut the inside of the Hudson News. Gregory's Coffee. They had to totally shut down and reboot. Who else? And then that flea market / indoor food market in Elmhurst. That's 5 right there right off the bat. When we were in the golden era of Rat Talk, finding out new locations, because right now it gets a little boring. You see the same places. That's why we're going out on a bang right here this week. We're looking for some of the rodent most rodent infested spots. How have you not gotten the mall in the Chinatown? I know you did it. It hurt the rat tours. I know. So, truth be told, I've only complained about that place once, and I really haven't made a video about that. But, maybe soon. Because you don't want to give up all your spots. It's better for the rat tours when you have rats running around. What about any influence with the garbage can situation? It wasn't necessarily the Starbucks. It was the property next to the Starbucks that was vacant, and they were building an apartment complex. But it was a Starbucks food that they were just throwing out onto the sidewalk. And again, how do you just throw food onto the sidewalk? That was at Starbucks in 46th Street. So let's keep going here through some more of the podcast. We're going to finish up here, and then, we're going to Los Angeles. I don't know if Micah's still watching. We're going out to Los Angeles. Micah, is he still here? So I got a whole slew of restaurants out in Los Angeles that we're going to go through. Or anyone that's watching from Los Angeles, if you're here, buckle up, because we're about to show you some of the most rat-infested, vermin-infested places out in Los Angeles. We just got a whole report from Los Angeles. Somebody might want to message him real quick so they don't get food poisoning out there. But Rat Talk has entered Los Angeles. We had a couple stories about California tonight. Oh, Infinity Shields is here. The Hyper Green Infinity Shields, the sponsor of tonight's podcast for Rat Daddy Radio. And before we start about Los Angeles, let me just shout out Jim Howard, CEO of Infinity Shields. We've been collaborating now, and we're back together working on some projects through Advanced Auto Parts. So you've been seeing a lot more posting about it. You've been seeing a lot more things going on. Our product, like I say, I guess it's ours. It's really his. He created this. But I feel like I'm part of the family with Jimmy. But it's now offered online at any Advanced Auto Part online, obviously, because they can ship it to you. So that's huge news for Jimmy. So shout out to Jimmy Jams. Shout out to the CEO right there, Jim Howard. He is now in Advanced Auto Parts, guys. That's exciting. That's somebody in our community right here has made it big. And he's pulled me up from this on TikTok. This is how I found him. This is how I got a brand deal. Was from Jim Howard right here. So shout out to him right here. Spray Away, Stank Away. That's the name. So when you can get your product in the store like that, that's, hats off to him. He's been grinding at it. That's his passion. And people like him, that's what they do well. They move fast. They make all the agreements they need to make with different people. They put themselves out there. And next thing you know, he's in a room with the CEO of Advanced Auto. So fun times. And now a word from our sponsors, Jimmy, Speech. Yeah, I'm excited to be a part of the ride with him, because from day one, we've always been like that together. So, and I've had a lot of offers in the meantime for other rodent control and rodent people. And he's like, go do it, take the money while you can. So right now, I'm not taking any other money from anybody else. This is what I'm doing. So, and I've been wearing this vest all the time. All right, here he is. Perfect timing. We got to talk about Jimmy from Infinity Shields, and now Worth a Flip is back. So we're talking over some restaurants in Los Angeles. So listen to these restaurants right here. We got a list of restaurants in Los Angeles. We don't want some of our people that are out in California to get sick, especially Micah, Worth the Flip. If you're not following him, he does streams out in Los Angeles. I haven't really watched any recently, because when I'm not on here in my free time, then I'm feeding the baby or something. So constantly grinding, but hopefully he's still doing some stuff, because he has a lot of interesting context about Los Angeles and this cool stuff throughout the neighborhood. But let's go through some of the temporary restaurant closures tied to rodents in Los Angeles. SGJAA Snack Bar. Let me know if you know this neighborhood. 9520 Hildreth Avenue, Southgate, closed on June 8th for vermin infestation. They have not reopened yet. House Market, 3337 Division Street in Los Angeles, closed on June 8th for a vermin infestation. They did reopen the next day. It's bizarre how some of these places can reopen. So worth a flip. If you're interested in going out there in Los Angeles, maybe filming some of these places, I'll send you some infinity shields. You can do some videos out there. Go peek in some of these restaurants out there for us and let the people know here on TikTok that they actually cleaned it up. I've been meaning to come visit you too, so I should come out there and see you. Then the next one we have is Koku, 945 Santa Monica Boulevard, West Hollywood. Closed June 10th. The reason says no closure reason provided, but inspector details list major violations around having insects, rodents, birds, or animals presence and hot and cold holding temperatures. They have not reopened yet. Panda Express. How do you mess this one up? How do you have a vermin problem inside of a Panda Express where most of the food that they have there is probably thrown out at the end of the night? This one is located at 2187 West Rosecrans Avenue in Compton. They closed June 10th because of a vermin infestation. They opened 2 days later. He said Micah said West Hollywood is crazy, very high rent in that area. Excuse me. Ooh, had like a little, what do you call it? Acid reflux right there. Next one is Cream and Sugar Cafe, 12826 La Mirada Boulevard in La Mirada. I think I'm saying that correctly. Closed June 10th, vermin infestation. Reopened, not available yet. The next one is Ninjinja Jingzu Barbecue, 331 West Garvey Avenue in Monterey Park. I think I'm saying it right. Closed June 10th. Reason no closure provided, but inspector details list major violations for hot and cold temperatures, clean hands, dirty food, contact services, shell stock tags, improperly displayed in sewage and wastewater. Oof. Can I get a bottle of water? Sure. Let me go get it out of the toilet real quick. Let's go seal that cap. I've drank water sometimes where I'm like, this is from the toilet. You know how you open the lid real quick and it comes sliding off? You're like, was that even on? You know, then you just keep drinking it. And you're like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? The next one here is Pupurira Rio Lempa. I don't even know how to say that one. They closed for a vermin infestation June 10th in Huntington Park. Pup Pasiria Rio Lempa. Next one is Diplomat Restaurant, West Hollywood, Diplomat Restaurant, 1781 Westwood Boulevard, Los Angeles, closed June 10th, vermin infestation, sewage discharge, no method to clean and sanitize available. They have not been reopened yet. I think I'm drinking that dirty water. I can't talk. Next one is WeHo Bistro. WeHo Bistro. Not even joking about the name. WeHo. WEHO. This is 1040 North La Cingia Boulevard in West Hollywood. This one closed June 10th with a vermin infestation. They have a link to this one. So let's click this one here and see what they got here. West Hollywood staple WeHo Bistro closed over vermin infestation. Wow. This was dated by the California Post, which is a subset of the New York Post, on June 12th. The notice said that the restaurant, popular for its casual French flair and inspiration, closed on Wednesday. I would have guessed something else. I would not have guessed French. WeHo Bistro, but it says Bistro, so I don't know what was going on there. Closed on Wednesday, and its class in the restaurant, 31 to 60 seats, high risk. It docked the bistro 11 points for no insects, rodents, birds, or animals presence. What? Food contact services, clean, sanitize, and 2 points for proper hot and cold holding temperatures. Okay. The bistro earned a C public health grade for the inspection. The rep said WeHo Bistro owner Jeff Dewick said the restaurant closed for a minor vermin issue. Yes, we were closed by the health department for a minor vermin issue that we have already corrected, he said. We are waiting for reinspection to open. We've done a deep cleaning and we expect it to be reopened very soon. Better than ever. A message posted on their website said, due to technical difficulties, WeHo Bistro will be closed on Friday, June 12th and Saturday, June 13th. An Instagram story from the establishment said the place was closed due to unforeseen circumstances. Unforeseen circumstances. An Instagram story said, hoping to welcome you back on Sunday. One of the things I noticed from talking to people here every day is that WeHo Bistro reminds them of places they like, he said. Another place than from when they come from, whether it's Montreal, Paris, or New York. All right. We'll hope you clean up the mice. Nobody cares about the place. Clean up the mice. Interesting how they had that on there clicked. From the New York Post. Purified water is toilet water? I hope not. I mean, don't a lot of people buy these for their home? Hope they're not just sticking them in the toilet. I mean, I'm buying these. Other than the WeHo location, honestly, I'm not surprised about the other locations. Okay. Well, let's look at the other ones we have really quick. I think there's a couple more left here on the list. Petiscos in Claremont. No closure reason provided, but the inspector details listed major violations around having insects, rodents, birds, or animals presence. Birds inside? That's a new one. I mean, I hope they're not pigeons inside there just getting slaughtered. Acedro, Chicali, West Century Boulevard, and Inglewood, California, closed June 10th vermin infestation. Happy Donuts. That's a popular place. Isn't that out there, the Happy Donuts, owned by the Korean family? They had a really cool story on Netflix. No closure reason provided, but the inspector details list major violations around having insects, rodents, or birds or animals present. They opened 3 days later. Happy Donuts. And Eagle Rock. They got a 4.3 on Google. Let me look at some of the Google reviews really quick on here for some of the lowest. Used to be good a long time ago. I recently went there and the donuts were not that good. They're like, I remember back in 1996, and there are only a little bit of donuts left to choose from. Yeah, I think that's the one in the movies. Happy Donuts. Should we worry about grocery stores? Do they get checked like restaurants? They do, actually. They do get checked. I mean, you should always wash your fruit and vegetables and all that kind of stuff. Just where does fruit and vegetables hopefully come from is the ground, right? But, I mean, now they're making food in laboratories and all that kind of stuff is what people say. So, I mean, the food does come from the ground, and hopefully you don't have a field mouse eating your corn before you get it. Yeah, it's still raining in New York. That's why I didn't go out tonight. So let's go back to the story here. Happy Donuts. Interesting. I need to look that up and see if that's the same place that we saw in the movie. Safari Restaurant and Bar, 2321 East 1st Street, Los Angeles. No closure reason provided, but the inspector did list major violations around having insects, rodents, birds, or animals. That's a new one for me. I like it. I'm here for the birds. And an update from the Post said as of Monday, June 15th, most of the establishments have not been opened, meaning they still must clear a follow-up inspection and prove they've wiped out the bugs and the filth and the rats and the mice before they can welcome back hungry patrons. The Post reached out to every restaurant on the list, but did not hear back from several. Lots of pigeons in LA, someone said. So, all right. Let's do the closing here. we're going to close out this week's podcast. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope the recording all worked. Have a good rest of your night, and thank you for watching Rat Daddy Radio right here live from New York City.